Hey guys, it's Jonathan McCormack. I'm an attachment specialist in New York. You can find me at attachmenthealinghelp.com. I do the ideal parent figure protocol, parts work, and all sorts of stuff. This, though, is the fourth segment. We've been kind of going over Dr. Leslie Becker-Phelps' book, Insecure in Love. And so now we're going to talk about deep, long-lasting security. And at the end, I'll do a meditation. So how do you get earned security? Well, we talked last time about self-awareness. You have to be aware. And yourself is a lot of things. Dismissives are very aware of their intellects. Emotionally, they have no idea. Their beliefs, who knows? So this is going to be getting, we'll have a meditation to get more embedded in our emotional selves, more somatically grounded. Okay, so, but even as you increase your self-awareness, you start, you're listening to these videos, you see, I am doing this and he is doing it. You're still going to feel this strong pull to go back to your old way of looking. Besides behaving, you're just going to self-verify your old perceptions. And you just continue seeing yourself or your partner or your relationship as you always have. Any potentially healing influence you just ignore, you resist it, But if you keep going, keep going, keep going, a new perspective will come about. If you have a therapist, you can actually do parts work and change the inner environment also at the same time. But that's also why, people who want to help in their relationship if they have attachment issues. They want manuals. Do this, don't do that. Touch her 8 times to make her do that. And you say X, Y, and Z. He'll do this. You can have the wisest person, which is not being me. You can have the wisest person about relationships giving you the best advice. But you will only make use of that advice if your inner environment supports a healthy understanding, or inner psychological environment. Certain plants only grow in certain climes. And if your inner environment isn't avoidant, if it's a desert, then how much is going to grow? So you have to change that. You have to water it with self-compassion, healing old wounds, So what's needed is a way to change the core environment, a way that directly improves how you relate to yourself and how you emotionally connect with your partner. So it's 2 things. How you relate to yourself. I do the ideal parent figure protocol, and we have the ideal parents giving you these feelings of love and support and all these emotions, all these developmental needs that were never met. And indeed, it's changing the inner environment. The old environment had all those old memories. Takes a few months, starts slow, but you'll see. And she says, one way is with an emotionally available attachment figure. I mean, that's wonderful. If you can find one of those, they're fairly expensive, I imagine, and fair, high. Well, yeah, I don't see a whole lot of those, It'd be pretty good to get one. The other way, she calls compassionate self-awareness. And that's kind of an awareness of yourself from the perspective of compassion, basically. It's like an IFS. You try to see yourself from the self perspective. If you're doing ideal parent figure protocol, you're trying to see yourself from the ideal parent's perspective as someone lovable, to be delighted in, that's safe. So you want to look at yourself as, I want to lessen that person's suffering. You. That's what you want to do. If you had a good friend who's going through this, you think, how can I help this person out? How can I lessen their suffering? That's what you want to think about yourself. So thoughts like, I'm an idiot, that will not lessen your suffering. That will add to it. Yeah, treat yourself like a beloved friend. So ultimately, she says, to earn secure attachment, you must be open to love from an emotionally available attachment figure and be open to being compassionately self-aware. So that means you have to at least be open to the possibility Someone would love you if you're like, no, I'm not. Well, that's And you have to be aware of yourself in a compassionate way. I'm aware of myself right now. You're aware of yourself right now. But how do you feel about yourself? Are you relating to yourself in a compassionate way? And that's what we're trying to learn. So, and by the way, if you practice, this is the thing, like if you do this, you actually will be more likely to get a more loving partner, or if you're in a relationship, you'll be more open to truly loving your partner if you practice this self-awareness, this self-compassion, So either way, it can only aid you, And these build on it, and she says a little bit at a time. You feel a little bit worthy of love. You see your partner in a little bit more positive light. So, you're not going to be like, I hate myself, and every time I do anything, I berate myself. And also, he or she, it was put on the planet to destroy me and eat hearts. That's going to take more than like 3 months to change that. That's going to take a minute, So it's not quick, especially the way she's talking. She doesn't really go into any big modalities, but that's later. So this will help you create a sense of your partner, a mental representation of your partner, and a mental representation of yourself that you can carry wherever you go. This is what will reassure you in times of distress. You'll have inside you an inner mother. I do the ideal parent figure, inner nurture. You'll have that because that's what people internalize. Healthy, secure people have internalized that secure base that their mother is or their father is. Also, just with more self-awareness, you'll be able to see your biases easier, So basically, self-awareness, the way she's talking about, is comprised of the awareness of your emotions, huge. Attachment people have no idea what's going on in their emotions. Awareness of your thoughts, and then mentalizing. I'll go into the mentalizing next. But the awareness of the emotions is so key. So I do, like, just for an example, the ideal parent protocol. Like, the parents are looking at you with love, or whatever. What are you feeling? And like dismiss or avoid it, they will not give a feeling. They do not know. They'll be like, well, this is happening. Right. How you feeling? Good. Well, good's not emotion. Pretty good. That's even less. You'll try and you'll try and you try. And part of this is identifying emotion. I know it sounds easy. You probably think, I know my emotions. I bet you are feeling, especially if you're kind of feel dead after that. I bet you're feeling so much, and you're kind of dismissing it. There's so many emotions going on. You have to be aware of those in a relationship because they're giving you the messages. And even often with like an avoidant person, I'll ask, what are you feeling? And it will still be no feeling. It will be like an intellectual thing, like well, it's interesting because I'm feeling like this is actually healing X, Y, and Z. No, that's not feeling. You just give me a theory. It's the difference between people asking, is this love? Is this limerence? Do I love this person? Whatever. This is the difference. This is the difference between knowing if a new lover is a good fit for you, or you're just feeling that passionate cloud nine thrill. There's a difference between feeling that thrill and feeling this is right. Yeah, I know this is good for me. Whoa, you ever ask that? Like, do I love it? Is it? You ever say, whoa, is this person good for me? Whoa, yeah, no, you never think that. But when it feels right, people have told me, like, well, when you're with that person, do you feel emotionally regulated? Do you feel? Most people just aren't in touch with their bodies, and they're not in touch with themselves. So I ask them that, and they don't know. They don't know their real selves. It's part of the awareness, and it's slow going, but yeah. And oftentimes when you experience these emotions, strange things happen. It gives you so much more information. For instance, I've known this happen a few times, but I knew, you know, a woman, after we started doing this, and this has happened a lot of times, probably to everyone, but it's one example mentioned, and it's happened, is that, she'll be dating someone, doesn't know if she likes him, and then the guy will, I don't know, go out and date with someone else. And she'll be upset, but she won't know why. She'll be like, I don't know, it doesn't bother me, that's okay. Da, da, da. And then when we start getting into the emotions, she'll realize, no, there is an emotion there. And the emotion's jealousy. And then the moment she realized that she's jealous, she's like, oh, this person does mean something to me. It wasn't until she can feel that emotion. If not, though, she probably just let him go and just, what was that about, So you have to be aware. Yeah. So this is also about your ability to self-regulate. If you can't self-regulate, if you're avoidant, you probably just try to suppress everything, numb it. Drugs are good for that, alcohol, no sleep, I don't know. Anxious people, all they'll do is they'll ruminate, endlessly rumination, repeatedly reviewing causes and consequences, looking for the solution, and it has to be the best solution. Here's the thing, there's almost never one solution. That's how people get stuck. They have like 3, 4 options. Like, which one's the best? There is no best. You don't have that much information. You don't have that much information. There's no best. Yeah, so just forget about that. Forget about picking the best one, Just pick whatever's good now, however you want to think about it. But it'll be the best choice for right now with what you know, da-da-da-da. But I can't choose that. I don't know if it's, what if this one's better? Well, we can't know. We can't, maybe because we need more information about the future or this or that. We can't know. We can't know which one's best, We just can't know that. And people just be frozen there because their mind's like, no, I have to find the solution. The solution's the best one. And the problem with that is as they ruminate, there's never any solution. And so they remain in that cycle of being upset and anxious, And a lot of times, so if you're secure though, you feel that too. You go through some of that upset, and you might have to indeed suppress them if you're at work or wherever you are. But then when you get home, you talk about your problems. You talk about your feelings with not just your partner, to your friends, Yeah. So, the truth is, we all have negative emotions, right? But people with attachment issues, they go like the extra step. Not only do they feel the negative, not only do they have the negative emotions, but then they go to repress them or distract it, which is more suffering, more negative emotions, So it's like, I don't want to feel this emotional suffering. Okay, got it. And so I'm going to do this other thing, distract me, be alone the rest of my life, whatever it is to deal with that. Well, that's going to cause you a lot of despair. You've just traded all these problems for all these problems, and which one's really better? It's always going to be painful. The one choice you don't have is just not to feel painful emotions. That you don't get to do that. Yeah. The other thing is why this is something people get stuck on, is they can't make a decision because they think, and they don't even want to admit it, because once they admit it, they'll have to make a decision, they think, and they either have to resign themselves to it or act on it. Like, I'll be pointing something out about the husband, and people will be like, oh yeah, and it'll be on the tip of their tongue, but they realize, like, well, I kind of like, if that's true, that means it is what it is, and I just got to deal with it, or I got to leave, and I'm not ready for leaving. So they kind of dismiss it, but that's not true. That's not true at all. You don't need to act on it or resign right away. And once you acknowledge it and accept it, you'll feel in sync with yourself. And just being in sync with yourself will give you a different perspective. Just doing that, just acknowledging it. A lot of the stuff I do those meditations, and I'll say, what are you feeling? What are you feeling? Well, the first step is to feel it. to say it out loud. It's like, I'm feeling happy, whatever it is. People with attachment issues have the hell of a time. I mean, I'll do this for like weeks and weeks, and I'll say like, boy, I didn't get too many emotions here. And they'll still, even when they have them, they're like, yeah, why should I share them? What's the point? You know? They never done it before. Who cares? I feel it. I know. Because when you share them, relational neurons go online, and it changes your actual perception of the emotion. A bunch of other reasons, but that's one. Also makes things a lot less boring for me. Yeah, but entertaining me should be a huge, that should be like number one in therapy. The funny thing is that a lot of these people, they can't distinguish thoughts from emotions. And they really can't. Like, I'll say, that's not emotional. Like, of course, yeah, I feel this way, you know? So I'll say, oh, how'd you go on the date last night, you know? And they'll be like, well, how did it feel? How did it feel? And they'll be like, well, I felt like I was just too quiet and I didn't talk enough. That's not a feeling. That's not a feeling. It's close. You gave me like a nice report on it. What's the feeling? I don't know what it is. It's probably embarrassment though. But she would not know that. He would not know that. You know, I keep asking, what's the feeling? What's the feeling? People get annoyed. But this is what we're trying to get, you know? And all of a sudden, but once you realize that, other things might come up. You're like, oh, I was feeling embarrassed. I would have never known this or realized this. But yeah, I was afraid of being judged. Yeah. But if you don't even feel that, you don't identify the emotion correctly, it doesn't work. So here's a meditation. We'll end this with this meditation. This is a meditation on just being open to emotion, opening up to your emotion. We're going to start with 3 breaths, body scan, and then go into it. Okay, so I would invite you just to get into the meditative posture. Your back straight but loose. And your feet firmly planted on the ground, grounded. And start bringing in the awareness into your body. Your awareness, bring it in, and down. And we're going to start with 3 deep breaths. So you can take a deep breath. Hold it above the belly. And then release. Yeah. And another deep breath. Hold it below the belly. And slowly release. Good. Last one. Take a deep breath. Hold it below the belly. And slowly release. Yeah. Good. And now I'd invite you to do a quick body scan. And I'd invite you to bring your loving awareness to your forehead and just notice any tension there. And moving down, you can soften the eyes, soften the cheeks, soften the jaw, and a wave of warm, loving awareness moving down your neck, into your shoulders, down your back, rolling down your torso, moving down, belly loose, hips loose, wave of warmth rolling down your legs, down your calves, all the way down to your feet, firmly planted on the ground, like roots of a tree. Just be aware of any sensations in your body. You can just scan top to bottom, bottom to top, back down to bottom. What sensations do you feel? Your heart beating? Do you feel your breath going in and out, in, out? Is there any muscle tension? Yeah. Yeah. And now, what are you feeling right now? Right now. What are you feeling? Right this second. What emotions? What emotions? It could be calm, it could be something else. Notice that emotion. Where in your body is that emotion? Yeah, and just focusing your awareness on that part of your body and giving attention to that emotion and noticing it. Notice how you can shift from focusing on your emotions to paying attention to your emotions to thinking about these emotions. And you can label this emotion, this thing you're feeling right now. What's the label? And what thoughts are arising from this emotion right now? If any, you might get a memory or a picture, another sensation. Yeah. Yeah. And now, bring your mind to a negative thought about yourself, something that you struggle with. What is this thought? Hold it in your mind. Repeat it. How does this affect you? What sensations do you feel now? What is going on in your body? What are you feeling? Where? How is it affecting your emotions? Holding on to this belief, how does it affect how you feel? You could feel it now. And this belief, what effect is it having on your thoughts right now? Yeah. You might even feel this belief in your body, your chest tightens up or your stomach churns, or maybe you're angry or sad. Notice all those feelings. Notice all those feelings. And also notice you can just abide in this feeling and not react to it. It's just a feeling. It's just an emotion. Like waves in an ocean. It comes, it goes. Yeah. And you don't have to do anything with it. You can just be. You have that ability. Yeah. Yeah. Let that fade. And you're back. And now, think of a time when you felt good about yourself. Think of a time when you had this feeling of peace and excitement and you felt good. Perhaps you were on a nature hike. Perhaps you saw something that was amazing, beautiful. Something that had your heart soaring. Or maybe it's just time, you did something worthwhile and you felt good about it. Yeah. have that memory. You did something. You felt good. Yeah. Yeah. And feeling good about yourself. Yeah. Where do you feel that in your body? What wakes up? Just feeling good. Looking back on that, well, that one time, yes. That is a time where I was very grateful to have that good feeling where it's in your body. Yeah. And what positive thoughts are coming up? As this good feeling, it's in your body. You're focusing, what are the beliefs and thoughts? It's not so bad. I'm actually okay. Things are okay. I don't know, what thoughts? Or just, this is a beautiful moment. What thoughts? Did you praise yourself? I did a good job. That time, I did pretty well. I was proud of how I handled that. Does that feel true if you say that to yourself? And notice where it is in your body. And perhaps as you focus on these positive experiences, your muscles will become more and more relaxed. A sense of being lighter or being happier, or maybe even just having more and more positive thoughts will arise. And you might even be surprised to notice these thoughts when they do arise, as they become more and more familiar. Then you appreciate them more and more. As you appreciate these positive emotions, positive beliefs, more and more, they get bigger and they spread, and the power and energy begins to shift things inside until your mind only entertains what is valuable, what is good, and what is positive in the wisest, deepest sense. And now, having had time for all that to take place, and knowing that any insights occurring will be remembered by the body, because the body remembers, you can take your time when you're ready and come back up, come back here, come back to the present, and eyes open, and you're here. So the next video is going to be on mentalizing, but I appreciate you guys being here and kind of all the love I've gotten, all the comments. I'll see you guys soon.